and put it into code Beachtown. Watch nothing happen.
It's a great product, and we hope
Yeah.
that one day they will sponsor us.
Want to talk about movies?
Popcorn and previews, movies and reviews at the theater. At the theater.
Yes, I want to hear what you've seen this week. I really want to hear Bob's movie reviews. I'm so excited.
Okay. Now, ordinarily, we're probably just going to do one movie, but because it's the first one, we're special. We're going to do 3 movies. All right. I'm going to put them in. I'm going to do them in order that they came out, released in the cinema. One of them stars Orson Welles. The other stars Judd Nelson. The third, Jess, stars Judd Nelson versus Orson Welles.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yes.
This is an incredible crossover.
I didn't know it was going to happen, and I didn't know we needed it.
Oh my gosh. Orson Welles was in Breakfast Club.
He should have been. Oh my God. He would have been so mean. He would have been even meaner than the dude who was going to bust skulls.
The guy who's like, I like how he points with his pinky out, the principal guy.
Yeah.
You.
I'm a newspaper man. I'm going to bust skulls. What? The first film, of course, obviously was Citizen Kane. So I'll just give you. And by the way, we're spoiling all these. Okay, if the newest one of these is 35 years old, so it's knock it off.
If you haven't seen Citizen Kane,
yeah,
you don't need to, because here's Bob's review.
Yeah, you don't need to. Basically, there's no need to watch this film. So basically, this is what happened on Citizen Kane. Okay, so it's like black and white, and then you see like a guy with a mustache. You just see his mustache close, and he says Rosebud. No one knows what the fuck that means. And then so they use like a CGI to make him sound all old timey and stuff, and like a CGI to make him to put him in black and white. You understand? And then then they go back, and he's a kid, and he's in the snow, and there's a sled or something. That part's not important. And then for some reason, his mom sells him to a bank, because that doesn't make any fucking sense. And then he grows up, and then he becomes like a mean rich guy, and he hates his not stepfather dad, like because the bank owns him or something. Doesn't make any goddamn sense. But anyway, that guy dies because he's 1,000 years old. I mean, he was like 58 in the 40s, so that guy's like he's over the hill. And then the Kane, the citizen, he grows up, and then he's a newspaper guy, and he has a wife, and then that marriage doesn't work out because he's pretty mean, and she gets tired of him buying statues in Europe and bringing them home, because if there's one thing women hate, it's when you buy a bunch of stuff and leave it around and it collects dust for no reason that you don't need, right? So then he gets like a second wife, and like she wants to be an opera singer, and then I guess she's not a good opera singer, because everyone said she sucked, but I can't tell the difference. I'm an idiot. So anyway, the newspaper gives her a bad review, and then he fires one of his friends for getting drunk and giving his wife a bad opera singing review, and then he dies alone with some nurses, and there's a snow globe. Remember the snow globes? Like he's got one of those, and it falls on the floor. And then there's a bunch of glass, and then a bunch of people who inherit his crap don't know what Rosebud means, because a nurse said that was his last word. They just believe her. I mean, I don't know. But anyway, so they're trying to figure out what it is. Was it another mistress? Was it this? Was it that? And then they throw a bunch of his stuff in a fire. And I think Rosebud was the snow globe.
Good synopsis. So
thank you.
Let me ask you, Bob, what's your overall review of this movie? How would you summarize how you felt about the film?
Arguably, the greatest film ever made.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. What an incredible review.
Thank you.
How can you compare that to the next?
We're going to find out. Because you'd think, oh my God, I probably should have ended with that one if it's arguably the greatest film ever made. The second film starred Judd Nelson. Now this and Molly Ringwald.
Equally important in cinema history,
if not more. And Molly Ringwald and Anthony Michael Hall, and a guy who played a wrestler, like a jock, like an amateur wrestler, and like an angry principal guy. This is called The Breakfast Club. Okay.
Great film. Yeah.
So a bunch of kids get detention, you understand? And they're not really bad kids. Except one of them actually is a bad kid, he's an asshole, but he's got fingerless gloves, so we just kind of forgive him, and he doesn't tie his boots. So I don't know why he doesn't show. There's a mosquito. I want to get it. I want to get this motherfucking mosquito. I'll get him later. So Anyway, the Breakfast Club, so everyone's upset. They got detention and they're not allowed to like even study. They just have to sit there and stare, except for when they're supposed to write an essay about who they are, which doesn't make any goddamn sense. I've never heard of that, of all the detentions in every high school. But this guy, this angry teacher guy, really likes being the detention guy. I'm going to get this goddamn ball. Oh, wait, no, I didn't get him. Son of a bitch. Sorry, that's going to distract me. So anyway, Judd Nelson, he's got fingerless gloves. So he's still got cold fingers. I don't know what the hell because he can't type. So I don't know what the hell he's going to write. But he doesn't write his essay anyway. It doesn't really matter. And then he antagonizes everyone, and the wrestler jock wants to kick his ass, and he's picking on the nerd, and he's mouthing off to the teacher, and then the teacher's not very happy with him, and he's mean to the popular hot girl Molly Ringwald. And there's a weird girl in the back who's like, being goofy and just makes wacky noises, and we don't know what her problem is. But she's drawing funny pictures and just being goofy. And then they have lunch, and all their lunches are really gross, and the wrestler's eating too much, and the dorky kid has his mom make his lunch, and it's a whole thing. And of course the Judd Nelson kid, eventually the kids bond, because by this point it's noon, so they're all best friends, right? And then that part doesn't make any sense. And like, they're all crying about their lives. And the punk kid, Judd Nelson's, like his dad beats him. And that's really sad. But then they get kind of over it. And then the other girl, the popular girl, cries because she's popular. And that didn't make any sense. And the weird girl first said pretended to be slutty, but then she said she wasn't slutty, and I didn't understand. And then the Anthony Michael Hall guy, dorky kids, like they start addressing teen suicide, but they kind of make fun of him. So I guess that wasn't important anyway. And then the wrestler, his dad was too demanding and wanted him to be tough, so he bullied a kid because he thought it would make his dad happy, but now he feels bad. And apparently he taped the kid's butt cheeks together with duct tape. He just taped his butt, and they didn't show that in the movie. Like that should have opened the whole thing. Like Orson Welles would have showed it. But so eventually the principal guy gets like chewed out by the janitor for being shitty, and then a principal guy challenges the team to a fist fight, and somehow that was all right. So then Judd Nelson is really mean. He's really mean to Molly Ringwald, and he calls her all these bad names. So she gets back at him by having sex with him in the closet, and then they convince the dorky kid to write all their essays. So the moral of the story is, if you're really an asshole to the pretty girl, she'll like you if you're half sorry and have relations with you with the nudity and the genital and the thrust things in the broom closet. And the dorky kid's going to do your homework anyway. And on Monday, no one's going to be friends. And that was the Breakfast Club.
That's a good synopsis. And
thank you.
And they smoke pot in the library and nobody smells it, which is pretty amazing. And she uses dandruff to make snow.
That's true. Well, I think you can't smoke it when you're smelling it.
It's true.
Smell it when you're smoking it.
Great synopsis.
Thank you.
My real question is, give me your overall review of this film.
Okay. Arguably, the greatest film ever made.
Holy cow. Wow. Yeah. This is huge.
Yeah.
2 great films. So, boy, you could
what
really
a week
make
I
a case for the greatest of all. What about the crossover, the 3rd film in the series? How does this one play into it? And how did they get Judd Nelson and Orson Welles, 2 powerhouses, in the same film? How did that happen?
That film where we have Judd Nelson versus Orson Welles is 1986, 1 year after The Breakfast Club. Things got bigger for Judd Nelson. Transformers, the movie.
Oh.
That's when they put the words "the movie" after the name of the thing. So you knew it wasn't the cartoon. So when you went to the theater and watched at the movie theater with the popcorn and everything, and the ushers, and saw the trailers for other films you could watch in the near future, you knew, oh, it's the movie we're watching. It's not Transformers, the teaser for the 11 o'clock news. So you know what happened. This film not only stars Judd Nelson, it stars, actually, I'll tell you as we go by. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Let's go. Okay, so Transformers, the movie, 1986, right? Happens. Okay, so there's a big planet. You've never seen it before. And then the planet it has some like weird like guys who don't transform. That sounds exciting for the Transformers movie, but they're these robotic guys. And then they're like, oh, one of them says, the guy's name is Nautilus, I think. Nautilus, look, it's Unicron. We don't know what the fuck Unicron is, right? So then this big munching circle thing just starts munching on this innocent planet. And you know these people are scientists because there's beakers everywhere, and the beakers are dropping, and they get their planet munched, and it's presumed that a giant genocide was just committed in the first minute of this children's movie. And then you hear this hyped up version of the Transformers, and you're like, oh my God, this is the craziest shit in the world. And the narrator goes in and he says, years from now, in the year 2005. And you're like, oh, this is the future. This is exactly what the future is, right? You see the Autobots, Optimus Prime, and he's a heroic leader, and he's got Ironhide and Jazz. And apparently it's 2005, and the Autobots are doing okay on Earth, but they're getting their ass kicked on Cybertron, which is their home planet. They have spaceships to go back and forth, and it's 2005, so they've been fighting for 20 years because the show is in real time, I guess. Not important right now. And Casey Kasem, who did the top countdown, he plays a cliff jumper, and they tell cliff jumper to do a countdown. Get it? Wink, wink, waka, waka. They're breaking more fourth walls than the Kool-Aid Man. Goddamn, it's absolutely bananas. So Casey Kasem does a countdown, and then Laserbeak, the metal bird, you know Laserbeak, he's spying on them. Laserbeak. I did. I give you the action figure. Wow, you're very welcome. It's much fun. They spy on the Autobots, and now Megatron, he's evil. He's played by Frank Welker, who I think was also Scooby-Doo and like 90 other voices. So Frank Welker, I think he's knows the
Cave of Wonders.
What's that?
In Aladdin.
Oh yeah, with Tom
Diamond in the rough.
Where Tom Hanks gets stuck on the island, yeah.
Exactly.
So
he throws the volleyball in the volcano.
That's right. And then Robin Williams puts his face in a pie, and he's like, "Good morning, Vietnam." So the Decepticons are spying on the Autobots, and then Starscream, who was played by Chris Latta, the stand-up comedian who also played Cobra Commander, who got 2 mentions in this podcast, says, "Much easier, Megatron, than attacking the Autobots' moon base." And Frank Welker tells him to shut up. He's an idiot. Some warriors never fail me, and whatever. So anyway, the Decepticons start slaughtering Autobots left and right. They kill Ironhide, they kill Ratchet, they kill Prowl, they kill Brawn, they leave them all dying. You see Wheeljack and Windcharger. Our favorites, our heroes are just dying left and right. And then we cut down to this Autobot named Hot Rod, played by Judd Nelson. And the Autobot is teaching this kid, Daniel, how to fish. They're fishing. That's awesome. And then the Autobot shuttle comes down, but there's a hole in it, and Hot Rod's like, "Holy balls, there's a hole in the shuttle." I'm paraphrasing. And then he starts shooting at it. And then this other guy named Ultra Magnus, who's new, he's played by Robert Stack from Unsolved Mysteries.
Oh shit.
So awesome. Now Robert Stack and Judd Nelson are yelling at the ship and not knowing what the hell is going on, right? And then this new Autobot named Blur, who's played by the Micro Machines guy, John Moshida, who talked real fast.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Blur's pretty much that guy. He just talks real fast and moves around real fast. So Micro Machines and Breakfast Club and Unsolved Mysteries are fighting the Decepticons, and Optimus Prime is like nuts to this. He lands, and you hear, "You got to touch. You got to." Donnie Wahlberg shows up, pulls his dick out, and then Optimus Prime starts firing away, and he's just laying laced to all these motherfuckers, right? And then Optimus Prime and Megatron have one final, and we're only 20 minutes in the movie, and they have one final battle to the death, and Judd Nelson sees that Megatron has a gun hidden behind a rock or something, and Judd Nelson walks in, "No, you don't, Megatron." And then Megatron says, "Foolish Autobot, don't you forget about me." And he tells him all the place. I think that's what happened. And then Megatron shoots Prime, and Prime, doesn't want to die, and he goes, "Never!" And he does a double axe handle, and Megatron falls, and a dying Prime is helped up gently by the Autobots, and a dying Megatron is just dragged carelessly by the Decepticons. And there's all this juxtaposition, and it's totally crazy. But eventually, Megatron gets thrown out of the spaceship, and then Unicron, the planet, has powers, played by Orson Welles. The planet talks, and it's played by Orson Welles. Wow. And then Orson Welles transforms Megatron into Galvatron, who's played by Leonard Nimoy. So now Orson Welles is controlling Dr. Spock to go after Unsolved Mysteries and Breakfast Club and Micro Machines guy, and it's totally fucking bananas, right? But Optimus Prime dies, our beloved hero dies before our eyes, and it's really sad. And he passes the Matrix of Leadership, which is like a glowing blue thing, over to Ultra Magnus, Unsolved Mysteries. And then the two teams go back and forth, and now they go on adventures. And Judd Nelson leads the Dinobots into a team played by a motorcycle that's voiced by Eric Idle from Monty Python.
Wow.
So now Monty Python and Judd Nelson and Unsolved Mysteries are fighting, and there's a bunch of dancing around, and Weird Al Yankovic's "Dare to Be Stupid" song is playing, and that's it's totally fucking bananas, right? And then eventually there's a big fight. They fight off Unicron and Galvatron, and they go into one of Unicron's eyes, and Judd Nelson fights Dr. Spock inside what is probably geographically the ass of Orson Welles, and they're fighting back and forth. And then the Matrix transforms Hot Rod into Rodimus Prime, so you have to buy 2 toys. And then he throws Galvatron outside the side of Orson Welles, and then he flies out, and then everyone says "till all are one," and that is Transformers the movie.
Wow. Impressive.
Thank you.
Impressive. Compared to the other 2 films, how would you rate and review Transformers the movie?
Okay. I'm glad you asked. Because I thought this one through, and I don't want to say the same thing for everyone. That gets kind of silly and repetitive. Arguably, the greatest film ever made.
Wow. Incredible. Bob, thank you so much for your movie reviews. I think it's been very insightful, and makes me want to go back and watch all 3 of those.
I would in that order, because I think it's an unsung trilogy in a way. Like, it's not literally connected, but
I think
I cracked too.
It's really like Lord of the Rings.
Son of a bitch. I was fighting for that straight face. Like, I'm gonna.